Okay, we have now gone live on YouTube as well, so it's live streaming in YouTube. Um, yes, people are still joining the meeting. So Shumoy, we are reaching the magic number of 100, and we are at 7:59. So I guess we will just start now, and the rest of the participants who would like to join will have to go to the Adamas University YouTube account and see the live streaming. So again, I think welcome everyone and good evening to everyone to this session this evening on this webinar. It's really nice to have everyone here and to see so many enthusiastic participants today. So, you know, uh, my name is Pradeep Baumik. I am the director of the School of Engineering and Technology at Adamas University. So, I welcome you all to this edition of SOET Equity. Uh, and this is brought to you by the School of Engineering and Technology at Adamas University. Today, our topic is space. And on Earth, who else is the best person to talk to and have a discussion with on space? Well, of course, with someone from NASA. Guess what? Today, we are delighted to have Dr. Gautam Chattopadhyay, who is a senior scientist at the NASA Jet Propulsion Laboratory and an IEEE fellow. All the way from California, United States of America, he has kindly agreed to join us and have this and share this session with us. Dr. Chattopadhyay, warm welcome to you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And I really want to thank all of you who have joined in, here on this session as well as on the YouTube, live. One of the things is that I wish it's not easy time nowadays, what is going on all around the world. So, however, I think that it will make us better when you come out on the other side. And I wish that I could have met all of you in person, and that would have been great, but it's not possible now, but hopefully in future I'll do that. Again, thank you, and I'm looking forward to a very nice and enjoyable interactive session.
Very nice of you, sir. Um, well, on behalf of the School of Engineering and Technology, we have organized, Dr. Chattopadhyay, this session, which we are referring to is basically a talk show, and we are referring to branded it as the SOET Equity. By SOET Equity, I mean SOET, which is School of Engineering and Technology, right? So this is one of the events that we have organized, and this is where we share we invite eminent eminent personalities like yourself, Dr. Chattopadhyay, and we request you to share your views with the participants. Today, we have as participants a number of individuals who are ranging from students to research scholars to even faculty members in this particular call itself, and there will be innumerable number of people who will be viewing this, because we have right now crossed the 100 limit of this particular call in this Zoom call, and this will be live streamed on YouTube, and people can refer to it at the Adamas University account in YouTube. So let me, friends, everyone, I like to take this opportunity to introduce Dr. Chattopadhyay. Dr. Gautam Chattopadhyay is a senior research scientist at the NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory at the California Institute of Technology. He is a visiting associate at the Division of Physics, Mathematics, and Astronomy at the California Institute of Technology, Pasadena, USA. He is a distinguished chair professor at the Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore, India, and an adjunct professor at the Indian Institute of Technology, Kharagpur in India. He has received the PhD degree in electrical engineering from the California Institute of Technology, Caltech, as we know, in Pasadena in 2000. And he is a fellow of IEEE USA and IETE India, and an IEEE distinguished lecturer. Dr. Chattopadhyay's research interests include microwave, millimeter wave, and terahertz receiver systems and radars, and development of space instruments for the search of life beyond Earth. He has more than 300 publications in international journals and conferences, and holds more than 15 patents. He also received more than 35 NASA Technical Achievement and New Technology Invention Awards. He received the IEEE Region 6 Engineer of the Year Award in 2018. He's also received the Distinguished Alumni Award from the Indian Institute of Technology, Engineering, Science and Technology, IIEST, India in the year 2017. Dr. Chattopadhyay was a recipient of the Best Journal Paper Award in 2013 by IEEE Transactions on Terahertz Science and Technology, Best Paper Award for Antenna Design and Applications at the European Antennas and Propagation Conference, EUCAP, in 2017, and IETE Professor S.N. Mitro Memorial Award in the year of 2014. Dr. Chattopadhyay, it is wonderful to have you here with us today. So before I start the discussion with you in form of specifically in form of sharing your views on what we have heard as is the interest areas of the different people that we have today, I wanted to inform everyone as to how we will go about in this particular conference. We have 100 participants here. I would request, and what I have done is that you will not be able to unmute yourself. I would request everyone, when you have a question, and we will have a question answer session at the end for you to ask your questions, please use the raise hand feature of Zoom so that I get to know that you have a question and would like to interact, and I will unmute you specifically for this interaction. So with that in mind, let me ask to Dr. Chattopadhyay my first question. Dr. Chattopadhyay, you have made this journey from India, Kolkata, studying in erstwhile BE College as you in your graduation, to all the way to USA in NASA. So tell us about your journey that you did starting from here to USA and in NASA, and how did you get inspired to join NASA, Dr. Chattopadhyay?
Okay, thank you. And again, thank you all for joining in. And I want to thank Professor Bhaumik and also Sushomoy Shamanto, who actually contacted me on LinkedIn. So that will tell you that what is the power of this kind of networking. So I grew up in Novogram. There is a town called Novogram in Konnagar. So I went to a school called Nobogram Vidyapit. And when I was going to that school, our school is not a very well-known school, to be honest. And we didn't even have the facilities. The ground was not even, some of the rooms, not even at cements on the floor. And we had a blackboard, kind of, always not straight enough. So from there, but uh, one of the things I want to tell before I tell my talk about my journey is that once you hear about this, you will know that if you are studying at a school that is not very well known, facilities are not good, but do not despair, because what is important in life is that you should have a big dream and you should work hard for it, and things will happen. It has to, because you need to have that passion and hard work. These two is a deadly combination that can take you places. So I studied in Navagram Vidyapit. From there, 11, 12, I actually did in Maulana Azad College in Kolkata. From there, I went to Bengal Engineering College at that time. It's called B College. Nowadays, it's called IIEST in Shibpur. And I actually got the opportunity to go to IIT, but could not go because we were not financially well off. I grew up in a family. We are actually 6 brothers and sisters. I have one brother who also studied in B College with me. He's 1 year younger, but we actually studied together. His name is Buddhadev Chattopadhyay. Gautam Buddha, is kind of one and the other. And but we actually were really poor, to be honest. So I could not go to IIT. So, but B College was a great place to study. And after that, my first job was from campus was Uptron India Limited, to do the control system in Lucknow. I was there only for 3 months. From there, I actually joined TIFR, Tata Institute of Fundamental Research in India. So in a lot of Bengalis those days, even today, there was a fascination for TIFR. Because people like, Jayant Nalikar, Govind Swarup, all these people used to work there. So I had that kind of fascination. So I actually went there, joined, and that really opened my eyes. I was so fortunate because I interacted with Professor Govind Swarup, Jayant Nalikar, even Professor Nalikar, when he comes to Pasadena, comes to our home. So it's kind of, something, sometimes you feel unbelievable feeling to know all those people. So that's where I started working on giant meter wave radio telescope, GMRT. I actually built the local oscillator system for GMRT. But there is always, back of my mind, that kind of, in Bengali kanil bhoot, that, I'll have to go for higher studies. And in that, I had, again, a fascination for Caltech, California Institute of Technology. So even I actually once wrote down on my note, Dr. Gautam Chattopadhyay, California Institute of Technology. I did not have a doctorate at that time. I was working in TIFR. I was, didn't go to Caltech at that time, but I had that kind of, dream in a way. And then I applied for master's. I came to Virginia, University of Virginia in Charlottesville. From there, I applied for PhD to Caltech, and I got really lucky. I got admitted, so I came here. Though I was in electrical engineering, here electrical and electronics engineering are the same. But my thesis advisor was in physics. So that Caltech allows that kind of thing. So that made my, again, great opportunity, because where my office was, 3 doors down from my office used to be Professor Stephen Hawking. He used to come here to Caltech in every winter, and he used to sit, just a couple of doors down my office. And of course, we used to chat, and many other people used to come and talk to him, like Professor Kip Thorne, John Preskel. Kip Thorne got Nobel Prize for physics in 2017 for discovering gravitational waves. So I used to meet all these people and pinch myself that, am I really dreaming? And then when I was young, we had only one room home for all of us, all 6 brothers and sisters. But in the middle of the night, I used to dream of NASA. I don't know why, because the name NASA has a lot of, excitement in young people. Because if you look in the sky, what excites you is all those stars and galaxies and Where did they all come from, right? That is one of the eternal question that always, asks about us. And then so that dream was there. One thing I want to tell you all, that it does not cost anything to dream. You should always dream. Just dream big. And I also used to dream. I used to dream myself that I am working for NASA and doing a lot of different stuff. No, okay, the movie Swades didn't come out at that time. Much much before that, right? So, and then one day I was almost finishing up my PhD, and then I got a call from NASA. One of the person, Peter Siegel, he actually called me and said that, okay, we read some of your papers and everything, so why don't you come over to give a talk at JPL, at NASA JPL? So I went over there and gave a talk and met a lot of people, and then they offered me a job. That's how I landed from Novogram to NASA.
I really love that, from Novogram to NASA. So that's a really fantastic caption to put this wonderful journey of yours. So fascinating to hear you have shared this. So Dr. Chattopadhyay, in NASA, so you have been with NASA for more than 32 years, right?
No, I'm there for 20 years now.
About 20 years in
Actually,
NASA,
20,
right?
20 years.
Right.
So basically, I
Right.
joined in October 1999.
1999. So this 20 years, in this journey, there's so many interesting things that NASA keeps on doing. So we hear some of them. Maybe just the tip of the iceberg is what we get to hear sitting outside. We were hoping that today we have you here with us. If you could share with us some of the very interesting experiences that you had, while you are working with NASA now.
Yes, it has been a fascinating journey, and I really love every single day of that. Last 20 plus years that I have been in NASA. I never ever think every morning when I wake up that I love to. Oh, I love to go to job. Oh, I love to go to work. That feeling has never come. There is a song by Carpenter. It's called "Rainy Days and Sundays Always Gets Me Down," because you have to go to work on Monday. So it's not that Monday morning I used to still, are excited to go back to work. So that is the kind of environment NASA has, because we are doing great, new stuff every single day that people think that is impossible to do. Impossible is not a word that is used in this kind of places. And and also another thing, that motto of NASA has been that failure is not an option. Of course, in real life, we fail every single day. And that failure, we'll have to learn from that failure, and that's how we make progress. However, if your motto is, and the end of the day is failure is not an option, then what we do, we actually make sure that we work harder, and to make sure that we actually do not uh, fail. The reason is that for space applications, when you send something in outer space, most of the time, there is no way to go back and fix anything if you make a mistake, right? And so, like, okay, of course, sometimes we do that, like Hubble Space Telescope, where you went a few times and repaired some of the stuff, but most often you cannot do that. So that's why you'll have to be extra careful. And so one of the questions, to answer your question, that what has been exciting is that what NASA does actually, if you ask this question to me, what is NASA's role? And we have ISRO as well. You'll have to consider that is a great organization. For NASA, main goal that we are trying to do is try to find out, are we alone in this universe? That is one of the main goals. That is there life anywhere else outside our planet Earth? That is one of the prime goals. And the second goal is to find out more about how everything happened, how all this universe came about. Who are we? From where did we come from? So these are basic fundamental questions that we are trying to answer. These are science questions. So NASA is a science organization. So whatever we do, we develop technology. Of course, everyone knows for NASA for developing technology and doing all this cool stuff. But behind that, the main driver has been science, that we are trying to understand the basics of science. And to do that, we design missions, we build instruments, and we send them in outer space so that our knowledge increases more than what we had before, that how these things work. So I have been involved in a lot of different projects to do many of those things, do astrophysics. One of my big first mission that I worked on was called Herschel mission. It was actually an astrophysics mission to go to outer space and look at these stars and galaxies to understand how stars and galaxies are formed. So that is one of the fundamental questions, because first you'll have to have stars and galaxies, and from there you'll have to have planets, because all these planets will be formed. And then come the question of, is there life in there? So if a lot of people ask me this question, that what do I think? Is there life outside our own planet? My question is that we have not found life anywhere else. Whatever you read on YouTube or somewhere else over alien sightings and all, the truth is that we have not found any form of life anywhere yet. So yes, I will be the first one to be excited if actually really prove that you found an alien, but we have not found. So to answer that question, are we really alone? So what do I think? What does the scientists believe? We believe that there is a very high probability and possibility that life exists outside our own planet. So why do I say that? The reason is, if you look at in the sky in the dark night, nowadays you don't really, in Kolkata and many other places, you don't see the sky. At least this lockdown has made things a little bit clear, so that you can, yeah, so it's nowadays, if you look at the moon, then also you get excited, oh, it existed. So that is the kind of situation we are in nowadays. But if you look in the sky, you see all these, hundreds and thousands and millions of stars, right? Our own galaxy, Milky Way galaxy, has about 100 billion stars, in order of magnitude. 100 billion is 10 to the power 11, right? And we have about 10 to the power 100 billion galaxies in our universe. Now do your math. So we have about 10 to the power 22 to 10 to the power 23. It's a huge number of stars in our universe. And in that, we are finding increasingly that most of these stars, they have planets. Not only one, multiple planets. Now think about it. What is the probability that in one of those stars, of billions and billions of stars, that there is one planet where conditions are such that life can exist? Probability has to be very high. And we are looking for those. We are looking for exoplanets. We found about 4,000 exoplanets so far. And we are finding many of them are in the habitable zone. Habitable zone is called Goldilocks zone. That means the planets, the condition, the temperature is such that liquid water can exist on the surface. And so that's what we call habitable zone. It has to have some atmosphere, kind of life that we know what it needs to sustain. So that is the kind of thing that we are looking. So you will say that, okay, we have 10 to the power 22, 10 to the 23 in stars, and we found only 4,000 planets. The reason is we have looked in such a narrow area in our own galaxy, because we do not have technology to see all this yet.
To cover the distance.
Every day we are actually learning about new. So this is one of the things. So that's what we do at NASA. We are trying to understand how all these things work.
Amazing. So it's it is kind of giving me goosebumps when I hearing you share these experiences and what you do on a day-to-day basis to take
I myself
our
don't
knowledge.
It's hard for me to believe it. I'm so lucky.
Right, absolutely. So on that note, Dr. Chattopadhyay, I have a question from Jeet Banerjee. Jeet, you are on now. Jeet, can you?
Hello.
Yes, yes.
Sir, can you hear me? My question?
Yes, we can.
Sir, good evening from India, sir. Gautam, sir, I have met you last year at IMARC conference. And I am telling you this because I was inspired by you, because you were from NASA and you were carrying a badge of India at your blazer. It inspired a lot of students and faculties like me. And another question from my end, as you are an expert on antenna design, how do you define an antenna? What is an antenna according to you?
So, see, audience here, or might not be the antenna people, right? So let me try to tell you in my own way. So antenna is a device that captures electromagnetic wave. So whenever electromagnetic waves are going around everywhere, so you want to capture that. So it is another device that makes the transitions from the free space to your component level. So it's just a capturing device that captures electromagnetic waves. It's like a funnel. If you think about in fluid dynamics, if a funnel that whether that is fluids coming in, if you put that, it captures that and brings it down. Same way, antenna is a device that captures electromagnetic wave.
Great. So thanks for the question, Jeet. Dr. Chattopadhyay, we keep on reading about all the new things that's been happening in the area of space technology. So we hear that a lot of new things like Elon Musk. We hear that Elon Musk has done this and ambitious projects being taken up. So we hear bits and, as I was saying, we keep on hearing bits and pieces as to how ambitious this has grown. How what kind of vision that is being set. What's your what are your thoughts on where this is going in this area of space research, space technology? Where is it going in the next 5 years? What shape will it take in your opinion?
So yeah, it's a very good question, and it's actually great that companies like SpaceX, Virgin Galactic, and even for that many other companies around the globe, they are very much interested in investing in space research. Of course, their interest is slightly different than what NASA's interest is. However, that helps us progress because NASA will never say if you are building something that we are not willing to take it. No, if you have something that works better than what we do, come to us, join us, and we will make sure that we take advantage of that. So that has been NASA's motto, has always in that way. So the main aim of these different companies is to have kind of doing business, human flight, because these human beings are fascinated by space. They want to go to space. If someone asks me that do you want to go to space, I say yes. My wife might not allow me, but that's a different story. That we want to go to space. We want to see from space how we look down on Earth. So that is the main motivation of this company. But NASA is helping them. Elon Musk's company SpaceX actually funded a big way by NASA, that we give them money because they're trying to develop new kind of technology. So more people are working in this area, then it lifts all of us up, right? That is the way it works. It's a teamwork. So that's what is happening. So increasingly you will find, it's my opinion, that more and more companies will get into this because there's a lucrative market as well. So there is some financial side to that, economic side to that. And so they'll be taking people to space. In the process, what will happen, new technologies come in, we'll be able to use those technology for our own missions. So that's what is going to happen more and more. So 5 to 10 years from now, you will have companies who are taking people to space. It is going to happen.
Wow. Okay. So that's what we're Virgin, the programs that Virgin is having, where they're saying that, we can have individuals actually pay for travel. So that's the next big thing that, probably now it is only for the billionaires maybe, but then maybe one day it's for everyone.
That's right. Let's hope for that. Yes.
Let's hope for that. Yeah, absolutely. So, on that topic, I think, as you rightly pointed out, so there is so much of diversity. So one is, what the large variety of thing that NASA itself is doing in the area of different kinds of space technology, different kind of research, all that work is going on. And then there are commercial companies who are creating opportunities for, larger use by the humankind. As an engineer or as an engineering aspirant, somebody who wants to be in the field of engineer or science studies, wants to, aspires to be an engineer or a scientist one day, what kind of opportunities does this field, this space research and space technology field offer to them?
Yes, so it's a very good question because, I know that a lot of students out there, even high school students who are listening in, So specifically for them, people ask me, what does it take to be a NASA scientist? That is also related to I not only for NASA, ISRO as well. And so that is specific. And then I'll talk about the broader aspect of it also. For me, what I think, it is not about what marks you get. I know that is always for the high school students and all, that is a big push for, we'll have to get marks, marks. Don't run after that. If you understand the subject well, basics, if you don't study for marks, instead study to understand, study to know, that will really do good to you. So it does not matter what you are studying. It need not be just physics, math, engineering. You can study anything, but if you study well, if you understand the basics well, and you come to us, we are willing to hire you. I hire people, a lot of people nowadays, and that's what we look. I never look at what marks they got. Not that I am actually discounting people who get good marks. If you are getting good marks, fantastic, very good. However, basic thing that we are trying to look at is that, what are your basics? Do you understand how things work? When you know how things work, we'll be able to train you to do specific things. That is not a problem, because you'll be able to pick up what I'm looking for. Are you passionate? Are you a hardworking person? Are you really excited? That the Mars rover that is going to, we are going to launch in July, very soon. Name of that is Perseverance. The other rover that we actually launched 2011 was Curiosity. If you have these two qualities in you, curiosity and perseverance, you will be successful. And actually, space technology area is opening up. As I said, so many new companies. Even India, if you, what I do, I actually read a lot of news. That's one of the things. That only 2 days ago, the government of India and your finance minister Sitaraman, she said that they're opening up, the private enterprise to take more role in ISRO and space technology area, which means that private entities are coming in more, which means job opportunities, right? So that's what we'll have to look at. There is a lot of job, all across the board. It's not just, your engineering, not the electrical engineering, mechanical engineering, all kinds of engineering. On top of that, physics. We need physicists. We need chemists. I need some people who are here, who becomes the chief of something in NASA also, you'll find they have done history major, but they're coming joining NASA. So we have place for everyone. We just need people who are passionate, who understand the basics. That's all you need.
Absolutely. I mean, these qualities in the individuals will make all the difference.
Yes.
Will make all the difference. Absolutely. On that note, Dr. Chattopadhyay, as you know, we are, we many of us are from, in the education ecosystem. So I'm from Adams University, and on a day-to-day basis, we are working on creating the right kind of what should I say, curriculum for the students. For the students to go forward in their life, so they get the right kind of mix and the blend of multiple things that they require. Now, for a science and the engineering, if you consider both, do you believe that, or would you suggest that it is to the current way that the practices that we follow today in education, does it need to evolve to create a generation of students who are enabled for a career in space research and engineering, or is it the normal traditional way of teaching is and then the elements of passion and perseverance, as you said, and the curiosity, these are the elements that will really be added on top of the base understanding to be able to equip them for the next level in this particular area? What is your opinion on that, Dr.
So my opinion here, if you look around, we'll have to evolve with time. One of the things that in every, not only in education, every aspect of life, we never stay stagnant, right? We actually evolve with time. We change. Look at the work environment is changing every day. Same way, the education environment has to change. will have to evolve with time. What do I mean by that? What I mean by that is, if you look at basics are very, very important. What is happening in many cases that we are focusing more of the extraneous things. Okay, yeah, I'll have to learn web designing. I'll have to learn, do this in AI. These are all important, right? Networking, this subject, I want to become an expert on that. How do you become an expert in that without knowing how the basics of physics and math? If you don't know basics of physics of math, then you are not going to do really well. You might understand on the surface a little bit and might get a job, but you'll find that you are actually getting stuck. So if at the school and in college, if you are understanding the basics, so if you look at the college curriculum, if there has to be an element of physics, maths, chemistry. I'll give you an example. When I came to Caltech, California, it's a small university. It's a big name. Of course, it's most of the time is ranked #1 university in the world for a reason. Though there are only 2,000 students at Caltech, only 2,000. Of that, 1,100 is graduate student doing masters and PhD, 900 undergraduate students. However, all of these undergraduate, all of these PhD students, they have to take physics, they have to take mathematics classes, and these are hardcore classes. So I have taken all kinds of really exciting classes when I came here to do my PhD. I took physics classes, understanding the basics. I do machine shop. If you become an electrical engineer, I know a lot of students, they will say, why do I need to do machine shop? Why do I need to know how to use a lathe machine or a milling machine? You never know when you need this, because one day you'll have to put to a drawing together to go to it. You have done your circuit. Jeet had asked me a question about antenna. You design your antenna, electromagnetic antenna, that's great. At the end of the day, you'll have to cut metal, right? You'll have to actually put something on paper that what are the dimensions. You first, I designed something on the first time when I joined TIFR. I had no clue. I had done mechanical drawing and all those stuff, our workshops, but in colleges, we were not that studious. So we we bunked a lot of those things. But when I put the drawings, I didn't know what kind of tolerances to put. The number that I put didn't make any sense. So when we go to the machine, he started laughing at me. So it is important you know that what you can achieve, what is the capability of our machining. These are all important. That's why don't neglect those things. Whatever you learn will serve you well one day. Therefore, it's the basics are important. At the same time, you'll have to again add on top of that, the new things, the AI that's coming in, that networking things that coming in. So there has to be a basic foundation, and then add these subject matters on top of that. So, and the new stuff has to evolve with time. But the basics, the underlying basics is not changing. Of course, physics changes, but that is at the very top level, right? So that's what I think that needs to happen, and it has to excite the students. The students should not go. Suppose you are teaching, I know you are all from electronic engineering, EC department, and you are teaching electromagnetic. The first day, if you write the Maxwell's equations, you'll find you have lost 90% of your students. Believe me, they will run away, because they will see what? They will see vector calculus, grads and curl. They're scared of that. However, if you actually start talking about electromagnetics in a slightly different way, when I teach electromagnetics, I start with impedance matching. They understand impedance matching. Students, they know impedance matching, because they have a register here, you have another register there, you'll have to put them together so that it matches. In a way, if you look from the circuit point of view, electromagnetics can be taught from the circuit point of view. Free space is 377 ohm. You are trying to connect 377 ohm to your antenna, Jeet's antenna. That's how it works, right? So you have to, if you tell them before going to the equations, if you tell them the basic principles, how things are working, they should be able to see in front of their eyes. That's why Feynman lecture series is so important. Every student should always read Feynman lecture series on electromagnetics, or that's all three, volumes, you will know what it means. So I know to answer a short question, I went very long, but that's my feeling.
No, this is absolutely. This is while hearing you, I thought I'll share with you something very interesting. The professors in Adams University have done recently. So I really loved it. So this idea. So at the undergraduate study in the when the students are doing their BTech, they're getting exposed to some of the multidisciplinary projects. Like for example, a project on electric vehicle, for example, and there are a few others as well. So all the students, they are teaming up together irrespective of the department. They're actually doing the work hands on, while learning the fundamentals, as you were just now saying, while learning the fundamentals in their classes, in the theory classes and individual practicals, they're able to apply it on that particular thing. So over a period of 3 to 4 years, they get an experience of doing something on their own, completely building up an electric vehicle on their own, which if you ask me, I think this is what is giving a very different experience to them, that I'm not only learning something from the books and the individual practicals, but I have really applied that on a real life thing. So
Exactly.
yeah, so I think that's something that interesting, that Jeet and the others, they have introduced very recently in the Adamus curricula, which is I thought I'll share with you. It sounds
Oh yeah, absolutely. That is
mm,
so important,
yeah,
because that hands-on experience is very much needed. And in that, what you mentioned is also teamwork, because you are
absolutely.
in your real life, you are not going to work with your in the same area, because you'll have to work with people with multidisciplinary. So from this time itself, from college days itself, from your school days itself, start know how to work in a team, in a multidisciplinary team. That is very, very important. And also I want to tell students who actually does not have this kind of facilities. There are colleges in India, in West Bengal, they don't have these facilities to actually build an electric car. Adamas might be a very different kind of place where they can have the components to build an electric car, but many of these colleges, they don't. And what do they do? What do we so that is the question, right? You say that, okay, those things are for elite people, but I don't have that opportunity. What am I supposed to do? What I will tell, that there are nowadays small kits available. It doesn't cost much. Put take your piggy bank, get together small things. Design something very small,
Yeah,
which has people have done. It does not
absolutely.
cost that much money, but what you are learning is all the other things, the teamwork and everything. So you should not think about the money, that I'll have to spend big money and make something big, make an electric car. No, you don't need to make an electric car. If you can, great. But if you can make something small, just use a drone, buy a drone, and then put a camera on that and try to fly it around and do all this stuff, the underlying, write some programs, to do something. You have achieved something. So, think small way you can make progress.
Very, very well said, Dr. Chattopadhyay. Uh, there's another question. I was speaking to someone recently, one of the students, and we are all today, as you know, all over the world, we are discussing. The major thing that we're discussing is COVID-19. So all of us are, stuck in our houses, and
Mhm.
we're trying to get all things done almost remotely. So even in things that we never even thought that we'll be able to do remotely, we are trying to do it now remotely. So I think naturally a question on those lines, which is what I was discussing with someone. Even in what NASA does today, or space research, or say ISRO, do you see anything differently we'll be doing because of the post-COVID world, or it's going to be all the same?
It won't be the same. Think about it. Before COVID-19, how many of you had taken this kind of big Zoom meeting? Zoom has doing well. There are many others.
Web
WebEx is
meetings,
there,
yeah.
Skype is there, all these. How many of you have done that? Not many. But we are all learning that, oh, it's possible. There is possibility. It works, right? It's working. There is infrastructure is there. Of course, they're stepping up to that. You need broadband connectivity and all those stuff. Those are underlying, basics. As I was talking in the education, there is basics everywhere, that you need the basic infrastructure in place to do this, make this kind of things happen. However, we are learning every day. That's what human beings are extremely resilient. So whenever we are we face problems, we come up with something that actually makes things easier, make things better. So I'm a very optimistic guy. So I always think that on the other side of this, of course, we are going through a lot of pain right now. People who cannot have food, all these migrant workers that they're working, you all know that, what, not only in India, everywhere, people are struggling. So we'll have to feel for them. We'll have to, do our best, whatever we can do individually from the government perspective, that to, alleviate that pain. However, as an optimistic person, I think on the other side of it, we will come out much stronger. All the new things will happen. We are learning, in NASA also, same thing is going to happen. What we are doing right now, it gave us the opportunity to think a lot more. Right now, we have more time at home, right? We are working from home, and we are thinking about the next big thing. NASA developed, we are not in, healthcare business. However, we built a ventilator. In a very short time, we made a ventilator. It's much cheaper, and we actually made this IP available to everyone in the world. Any company can take it, and it works really well. Very few components. It costs less than $3,000, and you can make it. So it happened. So we, on the other side, we are actually thinking new ideas right now. So use this time in a productive way, that when you come out of the other side, what can you do? Team up with your friends, do Zoom meeting, and make Zoom is 40 minutes, is free. That, you don't really need to have an account, paid account, to do that. So you can set it up, talk to your friends. Don't just talk to your electrical engineering friends, talk to your other friends. I always tell these things. I every day at 3 p.m. you'll find me outside my office. That is an open area. I go for coffee, and I have been doing that since I was a graduate student here. At 3 o'clock, you'll find me outside, rain, shine, doesn't matter, for a cup of coffee. And who comes there? My friends, all age groups, people. And we drink coffee. We talk about cricket. We talk about football. We talk about politics. We talk about everything. Sometimes we talk about work as well. From that, because of multidisciplinary, someone tells their problem, that, okay, I'm trying to solve this problem. He's a mechanical guy, and we are not mechanical engineers. And we actually start talking about it, and he gets ideas. I have more than 20 patents with me, and many of them came from that coffee discussions, because we are discussing something during the coffee, and we are talking about something, we get a new idea. So do that. Do Zoom meeting with your friends and start talking about some ideas, random ideas, and see what it goes.
Very well said. Very well said. You'd be, I think, you'll be pleased to know that a lot of our students who are even today here, I can see some of the names, they have been so creative. Some of them even tried to work together, remotely, and then stitch together different videos, small portions of videos, stitch them together and create a message, social message around. So they've been doing such interesting work, and with so much of energy that they have, and which is kind of boxed up now, in their houses at this time. So that we are seeing lovely creative things coming out from the students that we have. So great stuff.
Young minds are, they can think of, they're brave. They do not get weighed down by experience like us, because we are afraid to do new things, and young people are not. And that's why they are the future. They will do something that we can never think of. So that's why I'm so hopeful that they will do well. I'm really, really proud of all these students who are coming up with new ideas. So again, they will do much better than what we do.
I'm sure. I'm absolutely sure. So on the subject of these youngsters, Dr. Chattopadhyay, so there are, I think there is a very large number out of the 100 that is here. And I'm sure on the YouTube as well, people who are listening, large number of very enthusiastic youngsters, and many of them are studying engineering or science at this time, and they're listening in. I'm sure many of them, they dream to work for NASA or ISRO one day. What would be maybe those three top things that you would like to tell them that they should do? You have shared a lot, be curious, be more open-minded, persevere, and be focused, go deep. And you have shared some of those things before as well. But as a final note to all of them, what would be your top three suggestions to them if they want to
Okay,
pursue a career on this?
very good question. Again, don't run after marks. That is the first thing that I said. Uh, you need actually to do, one of the questions that when I give a talk to students, I have a slide that shows what does it take to be an, rocket scientist, right? NASA scientists and ISRO scientists, they're called rocket scientists. What does it take? Of course, the obvious things are there. You need to know math, you need to do well math, you need to do physics, right? But the other thing that we do not put emphasis on, but it's very important. Personally, I know, I have experienced it. You need to know how to write well. That is so important, because writing is a skill that you need, because at the end of the day, you'll have to, put it down on the paper, what you are doing. You have to explain to people so that others can understand. So writing is a very good skill to have. You need that. Read as much as you can, and don't just read your textbooks. Of course, you'll be reading your textbook to learn something. Read, everything, whatever you can lay your hand on. Read, books, story books. I like storytelling. I'll give you a story that when I was growing up in Novogram, as I said, that we were poor, we did not have the capability to buy newspapers, to keep newspapers at home. But next to our home, there was a club called Novogram Sevak Sangho, and they had a library. So they used to get the newspapers there, two newspapers, Anandabajar Potrika in Bengali and the Statesman. These two newspapers they used to get. Me and my brother, two of us, every morning, first job, no one told us, but we used to just go there. We used to find the newspaper that has come in for the library, and we used to take that and read from first line to the last line. Every day, we did that. Even today, every day I read a couple of newspapers. Online, of course, nowadays. I read New York Times, I read Washington Post, I read Times of India, I read the Telegraph from Calcutta. So sometimes someone tells me, oh, something happened with Shah Rukh Khan. And I said, yeah, I know. They tell me, how do you know? I said, no, I read it on the newspaper. So it does not matter. Maybe, those are junk information, perhaps, but it doesn't matter. Just read. So reading is extremely important. Then write, I already said. Speaking, public speaking. We'll have to, I am talking to you guys today. Professor Bhomik is talking to you all. So it's very important that we know how to speak well. Not about the English language. I did not know. Even now, after spending 25 years in the US, I have thick Bengali accent. I don't worry about it. That is okay. Many of you are studying in a village where it is in Bengali. I studied in Bengali medium up to 10th standard. It's okay, it doesn't matter. But we are not taught how to actually express ourselves. That is a practice that we need. Jeet knows, he went to IMARC and he must have given a talk. So you'll have to give a talk somewhere. And you'll have to explain what you are doing in a way that others can understand. So you need practice for that. Those things. Learn history. History is important. You say, oh, I'm going to be a scientist. Why do I need to study history? Everything, all those things are important. And then one of the things I always tell people, take care of your health. It is not studying, but take care of your health. Do some exercise, play some game. Because if you have a healthy body, you have a healthy mind. That is so important, because if you are not well physically and mentally, you are not going to be successful, because you need that. So, do all those things. You will find that not only, to become a scientist in NASA, in your real life, you have to be successful. All those things are important in every sphere of life. That's what I tell people.
Really so nice hearing these perspectives from you. And I'm sure and fully confident that everyone who has heard you today will have a very unique view and very defined view now going forward, with your thoughts coming into their own vision that they have set for themselves. So with that, these are the questions that I wanted to talk to I request your inputs on. With that, I wanted to open up. We have some time. Open up for a few questions. Is that okay, Dr. Chattopadhyay? Shall we
Yes, absolutely.
take a
I
few
have
questions?
all the
Yes.
time for you all.
Thank you very much. So I think I see Shushumoy Shamanto raised his hand. Yes, Shushumoy, you are on.
Um, Thank you, Dr. Chattopadhyay, for such a wonderful talk. I just want to know that how to be a good team member and how to be a good team leader.
Okay. This is very difficult questions you are asking me, Okay. So how to become a good team member and team leader? If you want to become let's start from the team leader part. So to become a leader for anywhere, you'll have to be a good listener. If you listen well, then you can become a leader. That is counterintuitive in general, but if you think about it, because our nature is that we open our mouth even before we think. That is our nature, right? If you are in a team meeting, you listen to what people have to say, you digest that, and then you actually then give your opinion, that what you are thinking. And then in a team, suppose you're working in a team, I work in a team, right? And I am the team leader for them. When I'm doing that, we'll have to give each and every one of them, even if someone is doing a very small part of that work, a big picture. First, you'll have to tell them, what is the big picture? What exactly you are trying to accomplish? The person who actually solders my transistor or my resistor on the board, that person also, I bring them in, all of us together, and I tell them what exactly we are trying to do. Because I spend a little bit more time. When you do a NASA project, big mission, as I said, it all starts with science. First thing will be the big science question we are trying to answer. Like, I'll give you an example of a project that I'm working on right now. I call it What's Up. It's water hunting advanced terahertz spectrometer on an ultra small platform. So this is going to go to a comet and trying to find out that did comets brought water to Earth. Actually, when the Earth was formed, scientists believe that the comets brought water to Earth. So this is a big science question. So I even tell the person who is doing my soldering job, I tell them, this is the science question we are trying to answer, that did comets brought water to Earth? To do that, we need to do some measurement, right? Because that's what science do. That is something that we need to do some measurements. What kind of measurements we can do to answer that question? What measurement that we can do is that the water that we drink every day is one kind of water, H216O. And then the water, there are other kinds of water. There is the 17th oxygen isotope, H217O, H218O, HDO, one hydrogen, one deuterium, one oxygen forms water. So there's all different kinds of water. And if you look around on our planet Earth, if you take the ratios of abundances of this different kind of water, of course, H216O is maximum, but other water is also there. If you take a ratio, you will find that that ratio is very similar to some comets. And if the ratio will be similar only when the source is the same. So we are going to comets, trying to measure this abundance ratio of different kinds of water. So that is the measurement that we can do. What kind of instrument you need to build to make that measurement? You are making high resolution spectrometers. And then you actually break it down to what are the different parts of your instrument. So the person who is doing this, the smallest part of the work as well, that person, he or she knows the bigger picture, that this is what we are going to do. Now they'll be very excited because they know that their soldering also will make or break whether we answer that big question or not. So they will go beyond themselves to make sure that it works. And of course, give them credit. If something doesn't work, you should be taking responsibility as a leader that it failed because of me. Don't point finger to anyone, because buck stops with you. If something fails, it is my responsibility. If something works, it is their success. That is the basic of leadership. And team member, yes, again, you listen, you ask questions. As a team member, you should ask questions always. That, okay, don't say that without understanding. If someone is saying, don't be afraid of asking a question that, oh, I don't understand, but maybe I'm afraid of asking that question. No, if you ask that question, no one will get annoyed. There is no stupid question. You can ask the stupidest of question. I tell always everyone in the audience, ask stupid question. There is no questions are stupid, because many people want to know the same, have the same question, but they're afraid to ask. So as a team member, ask that question, because also learn tomorrow that team member will be a leader.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Dr. Chattopadhyay, we have a question in the chat box. Avinash Kormokar, his question is, sir, my question is there any scope of civil engineers to work in NASA?
Of course, as I said, we need all kinds of engineers. We need buildings, we need structures, right? If you go look at Kennedy Space Center, where the rockets are launched from, who do you think made those structures? Me? Electrical engineers? No. Mechanical engineers, civil engineers, geologists, find the, civil engineers do a lot of geology work as well, to take the, samples of the ground to make sure that the structure can withstand. Everyone is needed. It doesn't matter what you are studying. We need everyone.
Great, absolutely. And let me ask. There are the three people who raise hand. Let me come to Pankaj Patil first. Pankaj, you are unmuted. Yes, Pankaj.
Yes, sir. Hello, very good evening, sir. Sir, my question is, what are the scopes for antenna engineers in space industries?
This is an obvious question. If I ask, most of the time, when someone asks me these kind of questions, I ask them, what do you think? So if I ask you that question, what do you think the scope of antenna engineers in space industry? What will be your answer?
As an antenna engineer and design engineers also. But
yeah, so
I want to
go ahead and
study.
answer. Well, why don't you answer your question? You will know
I
the
want to
answer.
study more means in payload design and other aspects of satellites.
Yes, go ahead and do that. There's a lot of opportunities.
Yes, sir. But this is not in the syllabus, sir. That's why.
There a lot of things are not in the syllabus. I never, my syllabus did not have physics when I was studying. Nowadays what I do is the first radiation of this universe called cosmic microwave background radiation, and someone got Nobel Prize for that. The next Nobel Prize also will be in that, the polarization of the cosmic microwave background. One day it will happen. Now I'm studying that. It is not about syllabus, what is there or not. If you want to study something, go ahead and study yourself. What are you doing nowadays? You have a lot of time at home, right? You can study those things.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Great. Well, thanks, Pankaj, for your question. There is another question here, which is specifically talking about, it says, I'm a final year mechanical engineering student and I wish to join NASA and I aim for a PhD in aerospace engineering. But how to tackle ITAR rules and what will it take to join in that case?
Okay, so, all right, there are a lot of questions there. First and foremost, why don't you want to join ISRO? That's my first question to you. ISRO is a great organization, right? So why you are discounting ISRO? That's first. And second is great, go ahead and do your PhD. It will be great, do wherever you want to go and study well. And ITAR issues are actually, when you apply, ITAR is actually arms and regulations, in the sense that when we have some material, some documents, we'll have to get permission to make sure that we are not revealing some details that is for the national security stuff. So that's the ITAR part. However, that is, we publish all the time, which means that we get clearance from ITAR. So that is, you should not worry about those issues. So you should, study, do your PhD, apply to ISRO. NASA, come over as a postdoc. NASA has postdoctoral program. Or, it's easier to get into NASA when you have it already in the US, or if you're studying here. So you can, either do PhD or, postdoc and then apply.
Okay. Now, the next question, we have a question from Dr. Deepak Kumar Ghosh. Dr. Ghosh, you are unmuted. Yes.
Thank you, sir. We are very glad to hearing your wonderful talk. Actually, I like to know that's how we can motivate a young-minded student for their work or for their whatever they like, for their study or for their work. Because as you have a 20-year experience, you have handled so many young pupils in your team. So how we can motivate the young mind?
So you are asking one of the most difficult questions. You should ask all the parents, how do they motivate their kids? Then you'll know your answer, because it is not easy, right? To motivate. They will do what they want to do. Only thing you can do, what I do, that you can tell, you cannot lecture them. Nowadays, they don't want to hear you. We said, why you are old, you don't know anything. I know more. Absolutely, because they know a lot of things, more. They talk in different languages. So it is not an easy job. However, you will find that if you make something exciting for them, if you come down to their level and see what they are interested about and what excites them, if you talk to them in that way, then they will listen to you. First of all is to actually make them listen. And they're not going to listen if they find that I'm giving them a lecture, I'm teaching something to them. They're not going to listen. So that motivation, to motivate someone, you'll have to set an example and actually come down to their level and talk to them and find out. Be their friend. Try to be their friend and say, I'm not here to actually hear all these people who are listening to you. I'm not trying to teach you anything, to be honest. I'm telling you my story. If you find it exciting, great. If you might not find it exciting, it's fine. That, and you have spent 1 hour of your time, big deal. So that is the way. That is the only way I can think of. When I go and talk to people, I try to talk to them as friend. All of them are, if you are a student or someone, you are my colleague. I consider them at my level. All of you at my level. It's not that I am a big guy or someone is small. No one is big. No one is small. Talk to them at their level. Treat them as equal. They will listen.
Absolutely. Very well said. So we have a question from Milan Mukherjee. Milan, I'm unmuting you. Are you there?
Yes, sir.
Yes. If you go ahead and ask your question to Dr. Chattopadhyay.
Sir, my name is Milan Mukherjee, and good evening, sir. And I want to ask you a question, that is, we have faced failure many times in our life, sir. Sir, how you recover yourself from that, and what motivation helps you the most to recover from that, sir?
Yes, it's a very good question, because all of you, if you think about it, when you talk to someone, if you look at me, you feel, oh, how successful, but you don't know the failures behind that, right? Because we fail every single day in many ways in our everyday life. And then main thing is that as you asked, how do you come out of a failure? That the depression that sets in, that at that time, and you are absolutely right to feel depressed, feel bad, feel in the dump. If I tell you that don't feel that way, that will be completely nonsensical, because you are going to feel. Suppose you are applied for joint entrance exam in India, or your after undergraduate applied for PhD program somewhere, or applied for a job and you didn't get it. It will happen, right? It will happen to all of us. It happens to all of us. Always think that you are not alone in this. We just see the successful people. Behind that, there are many people who have failed once and then become successful. So key there is to actually prepare yourself that I'm not alone. And I'll try again. What can I learn? What happened? Always I try to find out. You all should do what happened. Be successful. You will find your answer. You will find that there is something that is nowhere. You'll say that, oh, no, I cannot find anything. But at the end of the day, if you can tell yourself that I did my best, I tried my best, I did whatever I could have done, and even then you failed, you should not feel bad. Because I don't think, but it's very difficult to answer that question to yourself, because you cannot lie to yourself that have I done everything that I could have done to be successful? If you ask this question at that time, just take a day, you cry, feel depressed, do whatever for a day, or even for a week if you want. After that, sit down with a cup of hot tea or coffee or whatever your favorite drink is, and ask this question to yourself. Have I really done what I could have done? Everything with my own power. There are a lot of other extraneous factors always, but whatever is in your own power, have you done everything that you could have done? If your answer is yes, then you say, fine, this is not for me. Let's move on to something else. But if you find that, no, I could have done more, that's where your answer is.
Right. Well said, really well said. So just for everyone, before you ask your question, it will be really good if you can introduce yourself briefly. Okay, so I will go to the next person, who is Nishargo Chand. Nishargo, I have unmuted you.
Yes, sir. My name is Nishargo Chand. I'm an assistant professor in the Department of ECE at Adams University, sir. Sir, good evening, and thank you for giving such a valuable time. And sir, you told all the informative things. That is, at first I tell you one problem, like as an academician, sir, we are facing one issue always, like always an industry person say there is a very big gap between one academics and the industry. So in this point, I always teach the students that suppose there is a subject like mobile communication or the satellite communication. I teach the students and apply or giving the real-time applications over there. But sir, my question is that from your experience, sir, please give us some key points that we can overcome this gap between the academics and the industry. So only suppose some key points, sir, you just provide. That should be beneficial to us. Thank you, sir.
Again, you are asking very difficult questions for me. Not that I have answer to all your questions, but I can tell you what I think, right? One thing is that it is not only a problem for the academicians side. You can think that, okay, there is a problem from our end, that are we teaching the right way? Are we teaching the right thing? Are we preparing the students to be ready the very first day to take up the job in industry, right? So are you doing that from our end? It's a very good way to self-analyze. But at the same time, there's a problem on the industry side as well. Industry people, they come in and they think that when they recruit that person the very first day, that person will keep running. When a kid is born, they do not run the very first day, right? So you have the expectations. Managing expectations is also important. So if the industry hire people who has the basic understanding, and you'll have to always train people, because they're not exposed. It's impossible for you to teach someone everything that you need for a specific industry. Your job is to make them prepared so that they can learn. wherever they go, they have the basic tools. You are providing them with the toolbox, right?
Yes,
That when in India, when someone comes, to do a plumbing work, most of them, they don't bring their toolbox. So that's the only problem. They will ask you for a ladder at home. That's different in India. But here, when someone actually comes to your home to do something, you will find they have every single thing that they need in their toolbox. And they come there, then they will do their job. As academician, what our job is to provide them that toolbox, so that when they go in the industry, they don't know what job they're going to do. Like
yes,
the same guy, the electrician or the plumber, when they came to our home, they didn't know what tool they need, what exactly is the problem. Same way, that student who got a job, they don't know which exact tool will be appropriate for that particular job. But in their toolkit, they have, at least most of them are available. And then they learn the specific thing that they need to do. So that's what our job needs to be. Prepare them to do practical, so that they understand the basics. Prepare them to know the basic understanding that they have, and they need to get trained on job. Only then, this symbiosis will work. So if you're not giving them the tools that they need, then they will be at a loss there. So make sure that, okay, what is the current industry scenario? Where the jobs are, right? And then give them the tools that they need. Simulations. Do they know how to simulate? Maybe they're doing some, let's say some microwave work. Do they know how to use HFSS? We know these companies, they provide very at low cost, these universities, these tools. So try to get that. If you don't have it at your university, at your college, contact them, because that is one of the tools that they will need, that skill set that they will need. So focus on those skill sets. Then I think they're going to do well. Again, industry also has to learn that they are not going to get people, ready on the first day.
thank you.
Well, I will go to the next person, who's Neha Parmar. Neha, I have unmuted you. Neha, as requested, please introduce yourself and then ask your question. Neha, are you there? Neha Parmar?
Yeah,
Yes.
yes, sir.
Yes.
Good evening, sir. My name is Neha Parmar, a PG student in Ahmedabad College, and my area is electronics and communication. I have one question. As world is very changing very fast in every domain of engineering and science also. So learning many subjects is good, or having expertise in learning in one subject is better.
So I actually answered some part of your question, Neha. Thank you for asking. And you're the first girl to ask a question in this forum. I was very happy to see, because there is always an imbalance in this, and that we'll have to fix that. One of the problems we'll have to fix is that, because we need in a leadership as well as in every aspect, we need balance. That we need more number of women to come in this area. So thank you for asking a question. You cannot learn everything. If things are changing, right, that does not mean that you'll have to run today one thing, tomorrow you learn something else. As I started saying in the beginning, you need to have the basic understanding. Suppose you are in communication, right? Shannon's communication theory is there already, right? Nyquist rate, sampling rate is there, whether you like it or not. Is today's communication, has that changed? Are they not working with Shannon? No, they're still working with Shannon. So we'll have to still understand what Shannon's theory is. We'll have to still understand what Nyquist sampling does. Now, when we studied digital communication, we did not have, FDMA and all those stuff, right? It was not there. That concept was not even there. The CDMA, FDMA, and all those kind of stuff. But I knew what Shannon's theory is. I knew basic understanding of all this. And then things will change in your area. If you actually try to learn a few things on top, you won't be able to get into deep understanding, because you don't have that much of time to all of them. So you can pick one or two to understand very well to the depth. And then other stuff, you know little bit. And then if you have to go there and work in that particular area, then you read up, then you do your research and study and see, so that. But if your basics are of digital communication is already there, it won't take much time to actually pick up. So it is not possible to, again, to know everything, all that's happening around you. So you'll have to make sure that you know the basics well, and then focus on the specific things, few things.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
We now have the next question from Shumon Chakraborty. Shumon, I have unmuted you. Shumon, are you there? Shumon Chakraborty?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes. Do you mind switching on your video? Shumon, are you there? Okay, maybe some problem. So
No,
we'll come
sir.
back.
Yes, I am here, sir.
Okay, yes, Shumon, carry on with your
Okay.
question.
So, sir, I am a student of computer science and engineering, but I love the atomic theory the most. So, I have a basic question regarding that. Can you please give a brief description on the radiation of electromagnetic waves in description to the atomic structure? So, that's my question.
I'm not going to do that here, obviously. The thing is that if you are interested, my thing is that if you are interested in atomic physics, why aren't you studying atomic physics? You should study atomic physics. At least, okay, fine. You, for some reason, you have joined computer science. Great. Maybe there's some family pressure. Most often people actually join a particular subject because of family pressure. But what I tell people that, in some people are there that they'll have to join some engineering field because job market is there, and because their financial situation is such that they really need a job. After it was, my situation was similar, that I needed to get a job, so that I needed to study something that I get more access to a job. But many of us now, if you look around, your parents are okay that you can study whatever you want to study, but they have their back, your back, in the sense that if you even fail, you will not be on the road. You won't go hungry. So many of them are in that kind of situation. So for them, it is so important that what you feel passionate about, you should study that. Sumon, you should study atomic physics if that's what you want. So I'm not going to tell you, how, electromagnetics, that you need a 1 hour lecture. I will like you to study that and give a seminar here on that, the question that you asked. So that should be your aim. Why don't you study up and give a talk, 1 hour talk about electromagnetics at the atomic level? That'll be fantastic. I'll tune in.
Right.
Sure, sir. Thank you very much.
Right, Shumon. Thanks for your question. Okay, so next is we have some interesting question that we have received in the YouTube channel. The first one is from Bishwajit Bosu, who's asking, what are the possibility or any possibility of human colony in Mars in the near future?
Oh, good question. Okay, first of all, I hear this question. So what is wrong with your planet Earth that you want to leave and go to live on Mars? Mars is not a habitable place. If there is all this excitement, when you go there, you will get bored. There's nothing. So why do you want to go and start a colony up there? What's wrong with our own planet? I think it's the best place in this universe is our own planet. Live here. However, to be on the serious note, that that I don't think that we are going to colonize Mars anytime soon. First of all, the technology is not there to send someone to Mars and bring them back home. We don't have that technology yet. So going to Mars is possible now, but it's a one-way ticket. We can just send it to you, cannot bring it back. So go and stay there for a couple of days. You'll come back home. So it's not going to happen anytime soon. But in future, whether it will happen or not, I don't know. It's things might change. But I don't see any reason why you should go and colonize Mars.
Right. But that the second one is from Shubhranil Das, which is even more interesting. It says, what is the difference between the possibilities of finding life and finding intelligent life?
Oh, there's a huge difference. Huge difference. First of all, you have to find intelligent life on planet Earth. So I'm sorry, I couldn't, avoid cracking that joke. Uh, thing is that, life, when you're talking about life, you are talking about the life that we know. It could be a single cell life at this point, any form of life. And also there is possibility that we might find life that we don't even know anything about, right? So our knowledge of life is very limited, because whatever you have seen, whatever you know about life, the carbon-based life, that's what we consider life. Can there be any other form of life? Highly possible, but you cannot search for it, right? How do you search for something that you have no idea about? I always give an example of Tagore's, Rabindranath Thakur's one song. Many of you know that song, the Akash Bhora Surya Tara, Vishwa Bhora Pran, that song. There's one beautiful line. It says, Janar majhe ojanare korechi sandhan. It means that we are searching for the unknown through what we know. So that is very important, because when we are searching for life, we are searching for life with our limited knowledge of life. That's what we are looking for. So there could be life of other kinds. Can there be intelligent life? Possible. But again, when we talk about life in a broader sense, we are not talking just intelligent life. We are talking any form of life.
We have another question from Vrushav Jinage. I have unmuted you, Vrushav. Will you please introduce yourself? Hold on 1 second. Just 1 second. Yeah, there you go. Okay.
Hello, sir. I'm a senior undergrad student at IIT Madras, Aerospace Engineering. So I'll be just finishing my BTech. I will be starting with my PhD at UT Austin in this coming fall.
Excellent.
So I'm really passionate about research. So as a BTech, I published 7 publications. Like most of them are at top places, like in my field in aerospace engineering, like AWS SciTech, and that controls conferences. But
congratulations.
My question is, thank you. My question is, like when I read papers, I get a lot of new ideas, but I can't publish at the same rate, because first of all, I don't have my advisor along with me always, and I can't write single author publications which are worth publishing it. It will have some defects, which I advise only and correct. And I can't publish at the same rate as I get the new ideas. So how can I publish more? Because I also don't want the idea to be solved by some other research group. So that's the dilemma. I always fear that if I just do some 2 months delay, that idea will be got by some other research group which I don't want. So how to solve this?
Okay, so you have a limited amount of time. You have 24 hours a day, and you will do only some amount of work, and it's not humanly possible to solve every idea that you have and write a paper on that. And about writing paper part is one of the things. Is great. Congratulations that you wrote those many papers and in good journals. That means you are really doing great work. Congratulations. However, when I talk, people come to me, my postdocs, and they come to me and say, oh, I'm not publishing enough. I always tell them one story. Is that, for Heisenberg, Warren Heisenberg, yes. He got Nobel Prize, right? His PhD thesis, he was working with Niels Bohr at that time. His PhD thesis had only 1.5 page paper. It's called Uncertainty Principle. One paper. And he got his PhD on that. So it is not about the number of papers that you publish. It's always about what is the quality, what is the usefulness of those papers? What is the quality of those papers? Is it useful? Do people refer to your paper? Have you actually made a contribution in your field that people are excited about? At the end of the day, I can write, there's 300 papers on your name. How many of them are really useful to the people who are in this area of your research? You'll have to think in that way. So always, whenever you are working on something, and then try to make sure that you focus on that, spend enough time on that, make that work really worth it, and then publish. When you come, suppose people apply to come to NASA, I do not get impressed generally with number of papers. If they have written a lot of good papers, excellent, great. But that does not always happen. At your level, I do not expect you to write 10 extremely high level papers. That is not really, possible. If you have done, great, but that is not my expectation. My expectation is to see what are the papers that you have written, and what was your role in those papers. Because as you said, people write paper, there will be 5 authors. Then what exactly you did? What was your part? I always ask that question to people, that what exactly you did in that work? Because you always were working in a team. So what was your contribution in that, and what have you learned? So focus more on, doing, even if you write one paper, but it's a great paper and everyone says, wow, that is the most important paper that came out in this year in this field, and you are the one that you wrote that paper. It is much more useful than you wrote 10 papers in that year where people it's fine, they hardly read. What do you think will be more valuable? So think that way. And if you have your ideas, talk to people. And if someone else does that work, is fine. What you want at the end of the day is that work getting done, because you won't be able to do all of them. If someone else, you talk to people and say, hey, I have an idea, but I don't have time to work on it. It's okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for your question, Rushav. We had a question from Ritvik Sen. I think we will have probably time for one more question. Ritvik. Okay, Ritvik, you wanted to ask a question. Are you there?
Sir, can we contact the alien?
Oh, hi, Ritik, you are class 5. Oh, wow, it's a very good question. First of all, we will find alien. So if you find one alien, then we will find a way to contact, okay? So I'll help you contacting that alien. First, your job will be to find that alien. So when you find that alien, bring it to me, and or tell me about it, then I'll help you contacting that alien, okay?
Great question, Ritik. Love it. Okay, listen on, Ritik. We have a question from Ishani Mukherjee. That will be our last question today. Yes, Ishani, you are unmuted.
Hello, sir.
Hi.
I am an MSc Physics student from Adamas University. My question is, now NASA is researching on finding a planet where life exists. If we find some planet where life exists, what will we do with that? I mean, we can't go that distance from Earth or something like that. So what we should do with it?
Exactly. So there is a very
Why
good
we are
question.
researching on that topic?
Okay, so what your idea is, you should not find life somewhere else? No, I'm not asking that. Now I understand your question. It's a very legitimate question. The thing is that we are not, it is possible that even if you are going to find life, is not going to be nearby, and it will be very difficult to go there. But that knowledge itself, that life can exist somewhere, that itself is extremely valuable, in the sense that we know how life evolved. We don't know everything about our own life here, right? So this knowledge will actually tell us that, okay, what kind of conditions needs to be there for life to evolve. Life is one of the most difficult thing, if you think about how the conditions has to come together. Everything has to work together. If you can have all these elements that we see around us, but if you put them together, life does not happen. So in our world, this is the most amazing part, is that this life, this form of life, that from all these inert materials, something comes together in certain way that creates something like us. Think about yourself. You are a human being who can talk, who can do all this kind of stuff. How did that happen? So this knowledge itself, I mean, if someone else, can you do that? Can you put things together in a petri dish and make Ishani? Is it possible? We cannot do that today. So what is happening? So this is one of the fundamental, drive for human being to actually know how it all is coming together. So it's not that we'll be able to go. Maybe one day we'll be able to go, thousands and thousands of years down the line. I don't know. But that is not the ultimate thing. It's about, this knowledge, that what it takes. So are we really alone? That is our fundamental drive for this knowledge. Why do you look up in the sky and think how the stars, why there are stars? Why do you do that? You cannot go to them. You cannot go to those stars. You cannot even go to the moon, even if you want. Some people have gone, but we cannot go. But we still look up in the moon and see, wow. Why do we do that? That's our human nature.
That's curiosity. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I guess it's just 1.5 hours now. I think this is all the time that we have today to hear to hear from Dr. Chattopadhyay. And for me, I can surely say about me, and I'm sure about everyone else on this call today. This has really I have heard such great and inspirational words from you, Dr. Chattopadhyay. I cannot thank you enough for sharing your time with us here today. It is very early in the morning and at your place, I know that. And again, thankful for you to be kind enough to take this time. On behalf of Adamas University and everyone else in this call, I would again like to express our gratitude to you. And with that, I bring this session to a closure. Thank you, Dr. Chattopadhyay, and thank you everyone else who joined this call. It was
Thank
lovely
you.
to see
Thank you so much. I really had a great time, and thank you all for spending your time to talking, and listening. And hopefully, we'll come out of this COVID-19 situation. And one day, looking forward to meet you all. Okay. Thank you very much. Okay.
Thank you.
Good night.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.